Today, Fun with Flowers and Jay is brought to you by Garcia Group Glass, makers of TerraGlas, 100% post-consumer recycled lidded glass vases.
Welcome to the world of flowers. I'm Jay Schwanke. I've spent my entire life surrounded by flowers. As a fourth-generation florist, flowers have been a part of my daily life for as long as I can remember. Now I'm on a mission to share my knowledge and love of flowers with everyone I meet. Growing, picking, arranging, designing, and sharing. It's all fascinating to me because I love flowers. Anything flowers and everything flowers. Welcome to Fun with Flowers and Jay. Today on Fun with Flowers and Jay, we're creating a terrarium inside a recycled glass container. So let's get started and create a terrarium. I've loved terrariums ever since the time I was a little kid. I used to watch my sister make them back at our greenhouse in Nebraska. And she would put all kinds of details inside them, little stair steps, different levels, and I just always thought it was amazing. So today I went and I selected some great terrarium plants. These have become so popular again because people love terrariums and even fairy gardens. Remember that a terrarium can have a whole bunch of plants in it, or it can also have one plant inside. For example, I can take one of the little terrarium plants, put it inside a great little pot. This is a pot that I had left over from when we had clay pots back in the old greenhouse days. It was one of the ones my grandpa would have used in the greenhouse. So it looks wonderful. We've got our plant inside there, and that single plant can drop down inside this vase. And when we put the lid on, we're creating that great little biosphere inside there. The cool part about this is the ferns and things like that we're using inside the terrariums need that extra humidity level. And in some cases, our houses can be really dry. So in this case, this will fog up inside there and create the perfect microclimate for that plant inside there. When a terrarium fogs up too, we can simply kick the lid to the side like that to let a little bit of air in there, or take it off completely. But the great part about it was, in Victorian times, it allowed us to have a plant inside there in a greenhouse type atmosphere that was small and self-contained. So let's create our own terrarium. I'm going to do it inside the Rio Cache. This is one of my favorite vases. I love this vase just because of its shape. And it's a great vase for creating flower arrangements in, but with the lid, it's going to make a great terrarium. And it's also made of 100% post-consumer glass. So we'll start with gravel on the bottom. That's important because it creates drainage and allows the water to seep away from the soil itself. As the water sits down inside those rocks, it's going to provide the humidity inside the terrarium. It depends upon the size of your container too, as to how much drainage you put in the bottom. We've got about an inch or so inside here. A smaller container, we would use less. The next thing is our soil. Just use regular potting soil. We're going to put that in and coat the top of our drainage. We can kind of build up one side and make it a little taller than the other side. We'll select the plants that we want to use. Love this little palm. And this little begonia will do great too. I like to have a fern inside there too because it adds different texture. And we'll use this little photonia to give a dappled kind of effect. Those four will look good inside here. The other thing you want to remember too is don't add too many plants because it'll overgrow very quickly. So then we just bump our plants out of the pots and plant them right down inside the soil. I'm going to create 2 levels, and I'm also going to use a few pot chips to create a little stair step. I add the plants in different areas so that they're spread out around the outside of the perimeter of the terrarium. I pick out specific pieces of the terracotta pot to make that stair step. Starting at the bottom is key and working towards the top of the stairwell. I'll also add moss and rocks to give it a natural appearance. I love the fresh moss that's available because it's actually still growing, so putting it inside the terrarium, it'll take off and have a life of its own and become part of the little biosphere inside the terrarium. A turkey baster is perfect for adding water. It allows me to make a directional placement with that water, so I'm sure not to overwater. In the case too of one plant drying out, I can go in with a turkey baster and water one plant specifically and not the others. So once we're watered and completed, our lid completes the terrarium. You'll notice that it can be as elaborate or as simple as we want. In this case, we have a single plant. Here, we've got a terrarium. But remember, we could put one plant inside here, set another bubble bowl on top, and put another plant in there, and then have one more plant up here, maybe a succulent or something that doesn't need the humidity, to create a great little stacked terrarium. Here's one that I created, and it's been growing for about a month now. You'll also notice I found a great little figurine at an antique store that I added inside there. There's all sorts of fun accessories you can add inside the terrarium itself. And don't worry, if you don't have a green thumb, here's another great solution. An artificial terrarium insert. It's permanent botanical plants, and it simply slips down inside the vessel. You add your potting soil around the outside and put your lid on, and you have an instant terrarium that's completely worry-free. So, have fun with terrariums, create your own biosphere, and until next time, keep having fun with flowers.